Hey, what's going on, Z Nation? Zaid here, ZSPN. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about the Denver Broncos and the NFL draft. As of right now, the Denver Broncos just finished off their draft selections in the 2021 NFL draft. And I have to say, guys, I have to give a grade to the Denver Broncos selections. I had to give them an A- close to a B+ range overall when it came to the Denver Broncos selection in the 2021 NFL draft. And guys, there has been some disagreements when it came to some Bronco fans out there when it came to the Denver Broncos selection on the second day. I'll give you guys my opinions about that. But overall, really, the Denver Broncos went for the needs for the roster. I mean, that's just obvious. They needed an offensive lineman. They needed a linebacker. And there's just a whole different range of basic needs. Sure, they didn't go for a quarterback. But, crossing our fingers if something does happen between the Denver Broncos and the Green Bay Packers as it concerns the Aaron Rodgers situation, maybe they found a quarterback that will basically help them not just reach the playoffs, but could be a Super Bowl contenders. I mean, I'm just putting that out there. If somehow the Denver Broncos acquires Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers. But we still have to wait about that certain situations. All I know is that he has interest in the Denver Broncos, the Raiders, and I believe the 49ers. So that's those three destinations that he has an interest in. But we just have to see what the Green Bay Packers will do, because I guarantee you he will be traded. Okay, he is not going to play next season for the Green Bay Packers. I have a guaranteed chance that he's not. And if he does, I'll be shocked. So, hopefully, something, does go very well for the Denver Broncos in that sort of position out there. I mean, it's not to say that Drew Lock is no scrub. I mean, he has been playing pretty well so far for the Denver Broncos, but me personally, I don't think he's the future for the Denver Broncos. So, but he could wow me if he still remains with the Denver Broncos, and we just have to see if he lives up to expectations next season. So, and the whole Terry Bridgewater situation, he is going to be the backup potentially behind either Drew Lock or, crossing our fingers, Aaron Rodgers. So just want to put that out there for all of you to know my circumstances of that sort of position of why the Denver Broncos didn't go after somebody like a Justin Fields in the first round, because they basically went for the needs of the roster. That's all what it really went down when it came to the selections this year. I made a video about Surtain with the 9th overall pick. Patrick Surtain was a good selection for the Denver Broncos. They basically went conservative in this particular sense with the 9th overall pick. They could have gone for a quarterback, but somehow you should not pass on a talented CB in Patrick Surtain Jr. or the second. So you can go either way with that. But he was just a good selection. And I gave you guys my opinions about him. I mean, he is just one of those type of generational players that you just need to have on your defense, who could basically be that leader in the future for many years to come. And I just know that some of you are probably saying that, the Denver Broncos win free agency, got two CBs who will potentially be starting for the Denver Broncos next season. It still depends, but I want to see Patrick Surtain being the starter, but that's my own personal opinion about that. But they're basically temporal players at the CB position for the Denver Broncos next season, because I believe they only signed like a 1-year contract. One of them is Kyle Fuller, who only signed a 1-year contract, so he could potentially opt out next season, in 2022. And then you have Ronald Darby, who, signed a 3-year contract, but I believe the Broncos have the abilities of releasing him if somehow he doesn't live up to expectations. So they could potentially leave next season, but still remains to be seen about that. But, he is the future. He is the future of the CB position for the Denver Broncos. He's getting a lot of praises from, Champ Bailey, Talib, just former CB Broncos who just are just raving about this guy, and well respected because, his father has been a good influence on him, and he played in the league, so he knows the experience of being an NFL player. So the experience will be there when it comes to Patrick Surtain, in the NFL. So just looking forward to him and just him lighting it up with the Denver Broncos for many years to come. And that certain selection was just a conservative move, but it was the right move to not pass up, because Patrick Surtain is just a talented CB in this year's draft. So just a good selection for the Denver Broncos. When it came to the second round, this one was really controversial, to be honest with you guys. I mean, some people were thinking that the Denver Broncos would have gone after a linebacker, but they went for the offensive side, and that was a running back. Now, personally though, I did not know who the Broncos were going to select in the second round. I was just clueless because I don't know where certain directions that the Broncos were going to go for when it came to that particular round in the second day. And getting a running back, personally, guys, I think it's a good move. Good move because, we did lose Phillip Lindsay, and I'm still heated about the Denver Broncos not giving Phillip Lindsay a solid contract to remain with the Denver Broncos, but they really lowballed him, and I just wish him nothing but the best with the Houston Texans, because he was just one of those type of undrafted players out of Denver, Colorado, a homegrown Bronco fan. I mean, he just one of those type of stories that you just love to hear, and I was just a big fan of his, and I just hate to see him go because back to back 1,000 yards, making the Pro Bowl in his first year, making history. I mean, you obviously need to have someone on that team, especially Denver Broncos, and having homegrown Coloradoan, being part of that. You just should not lose that type of player. You should invest in him. But it is what it is. I mean, and the Denver Broncos, they just moved on from Phillip Lindsay. They do got Melvin Gordon, who is one of the top 5, top 20 running backs in this league. So there's some plus side of having him, but with the Denver Broncos getting a running back this year from North Carolina, it kind of shows you that the Denver Broncos are investing in this guy if somehow they move on from Melvin Gordon. I mean, that's what it really is. I mean, sure, Melvin Gordon probably is a bit ticked off about the selection, but Denver Broncos are looking for the future, and with the new GM, he just wanted to see a basic need at that particular position, and that was excuse me, guys, people are riding their motorcycles here. My apologies, but I need to make this video somewhere, so I just have to just put that out there. But he has some promise. The North Carolina running back. I mean, he is a star running back who's highly ranked as maybe the top, top 1, top 2 best running backs in this year's draft. I mean, the Denver Broncos did do pretty well. I mean, if you go Google his name and his, highlights of how he played in North Carolina, it tells you that he really balled out. I mean, he was a beast. The way he breaks tackles and just goes for it. I mean, he's a really tough, speedy player, and I can honestly say he's going to flourish with the Denver Broncos, and especially with the situation at the running back position. Sure, I guarantee you Melvin Gordon is going to start for the Denver Broncos at the running back position, but I think at second best, it's either going to be the second rounder for the Denver Broncos from North Carolina, or it could be Royce Freeman. So, at any given cost, you guarantee you there's going to be some competition in that particular position. So look forward to that. But honestly, guys, it was a good move by the Denver Broncos, but it was not something that I expected from the Denver Broncos to select that certain position. So, it is what it is, guys, and I can honestly say it was an all right move by the Denver Broncos. So, I just welcome competition when it comes to the running back position. So you have that, and then you go to the third round. Now, guys, I have to say this was a smart picks for the Denver Broncos. They got a offensive lineman, and they got a linebacker who, honestly, guys, those are the needs that the Broncos were looking for. And one of those offensive linemen, I can honestly say, is a very good move by the Denver Broncos. I believe they found a left lineman, offensive lineman, whose nickname is the belly of the beast. I mean, talk about a nickname to have in the NFL as a football player. I mean, if you want to get past me, you have to do whatever it takes to get past me because you're not. So, I mean, that's what basically belly of the beast is. I mean, you're trying to come after me, you got to do whatever it takes to get past me. So, I saw his workout videos, and I can honestly say he is one of those type of, bear man workout type of players. I mean, he works out with in the woods and just he's just one of those type of players that you just have to have on your team because, he's just one of those type of players that just has that work ethic. And especially at the offensive side of the ball. So, excuse me. But when it's all said and done, I mean, that's a good move by the Denver Broncos by selecting an offensive lineman. They do needed an offensive lineman, and this one in particular was a good move by the Denver Broncos, picking, I believe his name is Quinn. His last name escapes me right now, but I know his first name is Quinn. He's just, for some reason, I don't know what school he came from. He was from Wisconsin, I believe, but he's the type of lineman that I never really heard of that particular school. So, it's just so surprising that the Denver Broncos were did their research by just looking at this particular player. So it's a good move by the Denver Broncos by getting that offensive lineman, the belly of the beast himself. So great job for the Denver Broncos by getting that. I can honestly, guys, give them an A+ in that particular move. So great job for the Denver Broncos. They did go after a lineman. He could potentially play the edge rush at times, being a sort of a backup behind possibly Von Miller or Bradley Chubb, but still remains to be seen about that. He could just work his way to the starting lineup for the defensive line. So I don't really know so much about him, but somehow I saw just a glimpse of how he played. But I don't really know so much about him, and I believe most Bronco fans don't really know about this guy, but he has some promise in him. He could be the backup behind Von Miller, so that's something to look forward to in that. But I had to give the Broncos an A+ because they went after a lineman, which is a basic need for this roster, especially on the defensive side. So just a great move by the Denver Broncos. When it came to the 5th round, they went for safeties. which is also a good move by the Denver Broncos. Sure, we have Justin Simmons, but, he's going to stay with the Broncos for many years to come. I just think that the reason they got these safeties is because they're either going to replace, Kareem Jackson, or they could potentially replace for, like, I don't know who's on the slot receivers, but for some reason, their name escapes me right now, but... Bryce Cunningham. He has, I believe, 1 year left of his contract, so he's somebody that could be a replacement for these safeties that the Broncos selected in the 5th round. So that's something to really look forward to of their skills when it's all said and done, and hopefully just live up to expectations. I know one of them is from Texas, and the other is from Indiana. So their qualities when it comes to their positions does fit when it comes to the Denver Broncos defensive side, and a potential replacement for next season as well. So they are basically doing the same way of how they drafted Patrick Surtain Jr. or the second. So it's just another type of circumstances the Broncos did, and they just did it just similar to what they did in the first round. So just a great move by the Denver Broncos. And then when it came to where am I at now? I believe the 6th round, they went for a wide receiver. I believe his name is Seth Williams out of Auburn, and guys, I have to say, he draws into comparison when it comes to size-wise to Cortland Sutton. I mean, he's like 6'3" or 6'2". He has some size in him, and I believe he played some basketball in high school, so, he knows, he brings that height for the Denver Broncos, which, throughout the years of knowing the Denver Broncos, they always go after wide receivers who have height, with Demaryius Thomas and etc. And now with Cortland Sutton, they basically got this guy because he could be a good slot receiver. That's all what it is, and he could work his way to building up in the OTAs, and maybe get past some certain players that are like in the 3rd option or the 4th option type of range, but it is a good move. I can honestly say for the Denver Broncos, they got somebody who's a wide receiver who has height, who has speed, and last time I checked, I think he does have the ability to grab touchdowns, so he has the lengthwise of grabbing touchdowns for the Denver Broncos. So just wishing him nothing but the best when it comes to being on the roster. He could potentially work his way to the 52nd roster. So hopefully he does beat that. But if either way, he could be on the practice squad. So that's still okay because he's still young and just needs to work his way to the top. So he still needs that. So, it's a good move by the Denver Broncos getting a wide receiver in the 6th round. And then when it came to the 7th round, the Denver Broncos had 3 selections in the 7th round, and they basically went for another defensive lineman who, honestly, he's more of an edge rusher than anything. So I can honestly say with this selection, guys, I have to say, when it came to this particular selection, he's one of my favorites. One of my favorite selections. If I had to rank my favorite selections in this draft, I have to say it's Cortland Sutton. No, not Cortland Sutton. Patrick Surtain, and then the offensive lineman in the 3rd round. And then I had to pick this guy from the 7th rounder because the defensive edge guy who just, played very well for Ohio State. And, he brings that worth ethic. You need to have that in the locker room in any given cost. I mean, he just brings that when it comes to the Denver Broncos, and that leadership as well. I saw there's like a quick glimpse of a video of him hyping up his team to just saying that he all he cares about is football and his teammates. I mean, that's just the best trait to have when it comes to any sort of football player. And, it's just a good move. Good move by the Denver Broncos by getting that edge rusher from Ohio State. Now, guys, just real quick, the reason I'm not bringing up their names is because I just don't know them on the top of my head, because these are just recent, signees for, draftees for the Denver Broncos. So I put the pictures up. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, you will probably know who I'm talking about. But if you are watching this on my podcast, you could potentially see them in the descriptions of my podcast information. So I'll put the names and everything of the rounds of how I'm explaining for you guys to know. So just hopefully, my apologies if I'm not bringing up their names, because I can't really think of them on the top of my head right now, because it's just I have this recording and I just wanted to just get it, just make it a whole one type of video. So my apologies. But yeah, that edge rusher in the 7th round, good job by the Denver Broncos. And then the last selection, I believe they went for an offensive lineman also. So, the Denver Broncos just basically went for the needs of the roster. They went for offensive linemen. They went for on the defensive side as well. So all basic needs, mostly safeties. Some of them, linebackers. And the CB's positions as well. So, and the offensive line. So, guys, I really want to know your thoughts about the Denver Broncos selection. I really believe that these selections really fit the Denver Broncos, scheme of things when it comes to building their roster. And, honestly, it's just a great selections. As I mentioned in the beginning, it's, I give the Denver Broncos an A+, A- type of range for the Denver Broncos, more on the B+ side. So, it's just a great selections for the Denver Broncos. There's some Bronco fans out there that are a bit disappointed. I, at one point, was disappointed, but I was real quick to change my emotions because of the selections that the Broncos made in the first round. Some of you were thinking the Broncos will go for a quarterback, but it just wasn't the case. Hopefully, crossing our fingers, maybe the Denver Broncos and the Green Bay Packers situation with Aaron Rodgers do work out, because it was so close. I mean, I read an article that the Denver Broncos and the Green Bay Packers were close to making a deal, but for some reason it just fell apart. But maybe they will revisit it maybe in the summer, maybe June or something like that. But still remains to be seen about that. And with the quarterback position. But Drew Lock, he's solid. Maybe he will change things next season. We just have to see it to believe it. Moving forward. So, guys, please comment down below, like, subscribe to the channel, share my videos, and please give me your thoughts about the Denver Broncos selections. And what grade do you give the Denver Broncos selection? Do you give them like an A, B, C, maybe a D or an F? I mean, I saw a lot of grades when it came to the Denver Broncos. I mean, some were positive in the A-B range, but I'm very surprised I saw a lot of percentages when it came to the D and the F situation. I think it was because of the Denver Broncos not getting a quarterback in this year's drafts. But, guys, we just have to move on and just hope for the Denver Broncos. They just have another season where they will be playoff contenders. I just hope that, and hopefully they just change the trajectory of what their goal is next season, because the Denver Broncos, they haven't been in the playoffs since Super Bowl 50. I mean, that's 5 years ago. So 2016. So when they won the Super Bowl. So it was a long time ago. I really want the Broncos to be a winning team and a playoff team next season. I'm not trying to say that they're a Super Bowl team, because they don't have a good quarterback. So I'm just putting my emotions out there, and hopefully it just turns out good for the Broncos next season. And hopefully they just live up to expectations moving forward. And just really can't wait for Broncos football next season. So, guys, please comment down below, like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to subscribe to my my YouTube channel and also my podcast, ZSPN, on Anchor and all across podcast platforms. So I really do appreciate the love and support you guys give me. And also, guys, make sure to follow me on all across social media, ZSPN on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the links, if you guys are watching this on my YouTube channel, I'll leave the links to my social media sites in the description of this video, so you guys can check out my social media sites. And of course, subscribe to the channel and subscribe to my podcast, ZSPN, on Anchor or all across podcast platforms. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Go Broncos. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe out there.